For the longest time, talking to yourself has been this classic sign that someone's, well, losing it, right? It's always seen as this mark of instability. But what if that whole idea is just completely wrong? Come on, be honest. You've been there, right? You're all alone, maybe you're trying to figure something out, or you're just looking for your keys, and you mutter something out loud, and then someone walks in. That little moment of panic, that feeling of, oops, I got caught. Yeah, we've all been there. Well, here's the twist. All that new psychology research, it's telling us that this habit isn't some kind of glitch in your brain. No way. It's a feature. It's actually a sign that your mind isn't just fine, it's operating at an incredibly high level. Okay, so let's just reframe this whole thing. This isn't about being crazy versus sane. It's about having a brain that works so incredibly fast, it needs an outlet, an external processor, really. And that processor is your own voice. It's how you keep it all organized. I want you to think about your brain like a high-performance engine. I mean, it's constantly processing tons of information, running all these different scenarios, making connections faster than you can even track. And sometimes all that internal work gets so intense that it just needs an exhaust pipe. And guess what? That's your voice. It's the outlet that keeps the whole system from overheating. So what's the first big benefit here? It's all about clarity. You know how sometimes your thoughts and feelings are just this abstract fog in your head? Well, a high-performance brain absolutely craves structure. It needs order. And talking to yourself, that's exactly how it carves that order out of the chaos. And this is how it works. It's a three-step process, really. First, by speaking a thought out loud, you pull it away from all the other mental noise. You isolate it. Then you give it a physical form, actual sound waves. And once it's out there, you can step back and look at it, analyze it, almost like it's a separate piece of data. You're literally turning a fuzzy feeling into a real, solid problem that you can actually start to solve. So get this. This isn't a sign that you're struggling to think. It's a sign of just how deep you're thinking. Your thoughts are so complex, so layered, that the quiet space inside your head, it's just not big enough to contain them anymore. They are literally demanding to be spoken into existence. Okay. But it's not just about clarity. Talking to yourself is also this incredible tool for upgrading your focus. Seriously, think of it like you're programming a search engine, but for your own brain. You've totally done this, haven't you? You're rushing to get out the door, you can't find your keys, and you just start muttering keys, keys, keys over and over again. It feels like a weird little habit, but what you're actually doing is firing up a really powerful tool in your mind. Yeah, there's a fancy scientific name for this. It's called Stimulus Upregulation. Basically, studies show that when you say an object's name out loud, you're priming your brain's visual cortex. You're telling your eyes and your attention, hey, this is what we're looking for. And that makes the whole search process way faster and a lot more precise.
So you're not just making random noise. You are literally programming your brain to ignore all the other junk in the room. The mail on the counter, the coffee cup, the remote. You're telling it to prioritize finding one specific thing. It's this amazing focus hack that you've probably been using your entire life without ever even thinking about it.
And this focus hack, it doesn't just stop with finding stuff. It also works on our emotions. And this might be the most powerful benefit of all. It's not about finding your keys. It's about finding your calm. It's one of the best tools we have for managing stress and keeping our emotions in check. This technique is called distanced self-talk. The whole idea is that by shifting your perspective, even just by changing a single word, a pronoun, you create a little bit of space between you and these really intense emotions. So instead of being trapped inside the feeling, you get to step back and become an observer. See the difference? When you talk to yourself as you, like, you can handle this, you're creating that mental space. You're pulling yourself out of that immediate, overwhelming feeling. It lets you step into the role of a coach or a really good friend and give yourself the kind of solid advice you'd give to someone else. It's like becoming your own anchor in the middle of a storm.
And if that wasn't enough, talking to yourself can literally make you smarter. I'm serious. If you talk to yourself, especially when you're trying to learn something new, you're probably tapping into a superior memory system without even realizing it. There's a name for this too. It's called the production effect, and it's pretty simple. The act of actually producing the words, saying them out loud, creates a way stronger, more durable memory in your brain than if you just read them silently. And look, the data totally backs this up. Study after study shows that people who learn stuff by saying it out loud have way, way higher recall. It makes sense, right? You're seeing the words and you're hearing yourself say them. That creates this multisensory memory
that's just so much harder for your brain to forget.
Here is a good way to think about it. Reading something silently is like having a file open on your computer, but speaking it out loud, that's like hitting the save button. You are actively telling your brain to move that info from your short-term memory into your long-term storage. So where does this all leave us? It means it's time to stop treating your inner dialogue like some weird secret you have to hide. It's time to embrace it for what it truly is. And that brings us back to our core idea. Self-talk isn't some kind of malfunction. It's a necessary feature. It's what a mind running at top speed needs to function. It's just the system's way of handling all its own power and complexity.
So that habit you always thought was a little weird? Guess what? It's not a habit. It's a whole set of superpowers. You've got a built-in tool for better focus, for incredible emotional control, for a stronger memory, and for crystal clear thinking. All of it. So from now on, the next time you catch yourself talking out loud, don't you dare apologize. Don't be embarrassed. I want you to recognize it for exactly what it is. It's the sound of your brain firing on all cylinders. It's processing the world with a speed and a depth that silence just can't handle. Which leaves us with one last question for you. Instead of worrying about your sanity, maybe it's time to start listening a little more closely to what you've got to say to yourself. Because after all, you might just be getting advice from the smartest person you know.